Hello people, today we are going to learn about the new processes under my monitoring and controlling process group, which is control scope processes. So let's see. Control scope is the process of monitoring the status of the project and product scope and managing changes to the scope baseline. The key benefit of this process is that it allows the scope baseline to be maintained throughout the project. The inputs involved are project management plan, requirement documentation, requirements traceability matrix, work performance data, and organizational process asset. The tools and techniques involved are variance analysis, and the output is work performance information, change request, project management plan updates, project document updates, and organizational process assets. So the first input is project management plan. The following information from the project management plan is used to control scope. The first thing which comes under project management plan is scope baseline. The scope baseline is compared to actual results to determine if change, corrective action, or preventive action is necessary. The second thing is scope management plan. Section of the scope management plan describe how the project scope will be monitored and controlled. Then change management plan. The change management plan defines the process for managing change on the project. Then is the configuration management plan, which defines those items that are configurable, those items that require formal change control, and the process for controlling changes to such items. The next thing is requirement management plan. This plan is a component of the project management plan and describes how the project requirement will be analyzed, documented, and managed. The next input is requirements documentation. Requirements should be unambiguous, measurable, and testable, traceable, complete, consistent, and acceptable to key stakeholders. Well-documented requirements make it easier to detect any deviation in the scope agreed for the project or product. The next thing is requirement traceability matrix. This helps to detect the impact of any change or deviation from the scope baseline on the project objectives. The next input is WPD, which is work performance data, can include the number of change requests received, the number of requests accepted, or the number of deliverables completed, etc. The last input is OPA. The OPAs that can influence the control scope include existing formal and informal scope, control related policies, procedures, and guidelines, and monitoring and reporting methods and template to be used. The tools and techniques involved under control scope is variance analysis. Variance analysis is a technique for determining the cause and the degree of difference between the baseline and actual performance. Project performance measurements are used to assess the magnitude of variance or variation from the original scope baseline. Important aspects of the project scope control include determining the cause and the degree of variance relative to the scope baseline and deciding whether the corrective or preventive action is required. So next let's learn about the outputs. The first output is WPI. Work performance information produced includes correlated and contextualized information on how the project scope is performing compared to the scope baseline. It can include the categories of the changes received, the identified scope variances and their causes, how they impact schedule or cost, and the forecast of the future scope performance. This information provides a foundation for making scope decisions. The next output is change request. Analysis of scope performance can result in change request to the scope baseline or other components of the project management plan. Change request can include preventive or corrective actions, defect repairs, or enhancement requests. Change requests are processed for review and disposition according to the perform integrated change control process. The next output is project management plan updates. and it may include scope baseline update. If approved change requests have an effect on the project scope, then scope statement, the WBS and WBS dictionary are revised and reissued to reflect the approved changes through perform integrated change control process. Other baseline updates: if approved change requests have an effect on the project besides the project scope, then the corresponding cost baseline and schedule baselines are revised and reissued to reflect the approved changes. The next output is project document updates. Project document updates may include requirement documentation and requirement traceability matrix. The next output is organizational process asset update that may include causes of variances, corrective action chosen, and the reasons, and other types of lesson learned from the project scope control. So guys, I hope you got some idea on the process control scope. So come back to my channel or subscribe to my channel for more videos on PMP and other things. Thank you very much for watching. See you soon.